All right, y'all. So I just want to share with you guys real quick the power law and how power laws work in your psychology. If you find so, before we even go any further, at the power law, basic mathematics, right? 10 raised to the third power. You can have a negative uh, power law. You can have a positive, right? 10 raised to the third is 1,000, right? 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 100 times 10 is 1,000. So we know that that's a positive power law, exponential growth at 1,000, right? You have a negative exponent, right? 10 to the negative third power would be 0.001, I believe, right? Because why it's important is because that same mathematics applies in the real world, okay? So instead of the 10, right, you have an event that substitutes the number 10. A breakup, a divorce, a loss of job, loss of income, finances, a family member passes away, a friend dies, a friendship dissolves, some kind of event happened in life, taxes, whatever, I don't care. Uh, the event serves as 10, the base number. In this case, it's a negative, so it's the exponent is a negative. Depending on the severity of the situation, that's how you would plug in the exponent, the exponential growth rate, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6, but it's in the negative. And what the power law does is it takes the base number and exaggerates it. It, like I said, it was 10 becomes 1,000 based on the power law, right? If it's a positive. If it's a negative, 10 becomes 0.001 if it's a negative, right? So the power law exaggerates either in the positive direction or in the negative direction. Doesn't matter. It exaggerates, it augments, it increases on either ends. But how do you increase while decreasing? Because a negative is going down. Negative would be decrease, but you're increasing. Well, it's mathematical gymnastics. If you're going down a negative scale, right? You're going down the negative, but you're increasing in the negative. So -1, -2, -3, -4. You're going deeper into negative territory, but you're also at the same time going up in the negative territory, right? Because the negative territory is getting stronger. It's augmenting, it's increasing, it's expanding. You're going from 1 negative to 5, from 5 negative to 10. So you're increasing, you're expanding, but yet still you're going on a downward spiral. So whenever you go through an event in life, it's very important and critical that you understand the power laws, right? Because what the power law does is you was expecting a check in the mail, check didn't come. All of a sudden, psychologically, you start thinking, wow, I'm not going to be able to pay the rent this month. Next thought, me and my family are going to be homeless. Next thought, we're going to be in a back alley. Somebody's going to rob us. Somebody's going to, rob us, steal my wife, and turn my kids into slaves. I'm exaggerating, but I'm trying to show you how the negative power law works. It takes the event and it increases it by the exponent, the severity of the situation. That's on the negative spectrum. On the positive spectrum, the power law works the same way. You have a goal. You achieved 1% of that goal. You're nowhere near the finish line. But that 1%, right, you augment it. You actually celebrate it, right? You build up on it. It's called a compounding effect till ultimately you become what the goal is. You achieve it, right? Because of the same power law has a compounding. Compounding means it's self-feeding, self-cannibalizing, self-perpetuating, and self-sustaining. It doesn't need a stimulant or a stimuli. So, very important that you understand how the mathematics in terms of algebra applies in the real life, in the real world, in terms of power laws, so that you won't be trapped in a negative power law and next thing you know, you're spiraling. Now, here's why it's also very important why I decided to share this video. Based on my research and my findings, it's been found in the psychological, psychiatrists, those in the field of psychology, they have found that tied to depression, tied to anxiety, cognitive distortions, and then other mental pathologies, which are mental disease, mental illnesses, tied to that, they have found that power laws there's a correlation between depression and negative power laws. There's a correlation, meaning a connection between high anxiety, and power laws. So that's why I wanted to share this with you guys, that if you ever find yourself in a downwards trajectory psychologically, remember the power law, and remember that you can shift it by going from a negative exponent to a positive exponent. In other words, how that look, if you're feeling down and out and life sucks and you just, you just feel like you're in a crapper, you have to do something positive. Do something positive, and what it's going to do is going to create a shift in the power law. And that one positive step that you take, it's intentional, right? It's purposeful, it's meaningful. It's deliberate. That's the word. It's deliberate. It's going to feed upon itself and create it's going to turn the tides of the power law and compound up on itself, and other positive things will start to happen. Till next time, peace.